In this tutorial, I will show you how to spawn enemies in specific locations in your game map once your character interacts with them, and how to destroy them if your character is far away. So let's get down to it. So the first step is going to be to create the enemy blueprint. So we can do right click and let's jump to blueprint class. And since we're going to be creating a character, so I'd like to use the character blueprint, not the actor. So character, and let's call it BP underscore enemy. And we can double click on our enemy right here and we can assign a mesh. So let me just select here the mesh on the left side. And if you scroll a little bit down, you're going to be finding the mesh skeleton asset. I'm going to just be using this simple man. You can use your own character that you want to set. I'd like to drag it a little bit down, and for the location, or actually the rotation, I'd like to spin it. You can just spin it on like this. Let me just give it minus 90 degrees. So basically the character needs to be facing this axis here, this blue axis. So that's been done. Let me just compile, save, and we can go back, and I'd like to double click on the third person character. So we're going to be setting the logic inside our character here. So let's go ahead and do that. So double click on the third person blueprint, and the node that's going to allow us to spawn actors, it's called spawn actor. Straightforward. So spawn actor from class. So first we have to specify the actor that or the class that we want to spawn, which is our enemy. So I'm going to just select from here. So enemy underscore BP underscore enemy. All right, so we set the actor to spawn, which is our enemy. So now we have to set the spawn transform. And basically the transform is the location where we're going to be spawning our enemy. So to do that, let me just go back to our viewport, and we have to create a new blueprint. It's going to be the spawn points. So you can just do right click and let's jump to blueprint class. So this one's going to be just an actor, and we can call it BP underscore spawn points. So I'd like to double click on it, and I'd like to give it a sphere. So let's add here a sphere collision, and let me explain. Let me just add it here. We can just expand it a little bit. Let me just give it 5. All right, for the scale, and we can compile, save. Let's go back to our viewport, and I'd like to simply drag that spawn point, for example, here. So this is the idea. So we're using this sphere for the collision. So as soon as our character collides with this sphere, we're going to be spawning our enemy inside it here at the center. All right, so let's go back to our blueprint. So we are setting the system inside the third person character. So from here, what we need to do, we have to select, I'm going to be selecting this capsule that we got here. And if you scroll down, I'm going to be seeing all the events that we need. And the event that we need is this begin overlap, the begin overlap. So basically, we're going to be triggering this event as soon as something is touching this capsule, which is our character. So this capsule that we got here. All right, let's go back to the event graph. So let's drag a line from here and let's cast to BP, the spawn point, spawn BP spawn point, this one right here. And we're going to be using the other actor as the object. So this event will fire or will trigger as soon as we collide with that sphere, the sphere that we got here. So we can just do a test. Let me just add a message over here to keep everything simple. So print message text. So let's say here that character is colliding with spawn point. All right, so now we can just play. Let me just play my game. And here we can just go to our sphere. All right, so you can see that message on the top right, which means that to this position, it's working. So I'd like to connect it straight to this spawn point. And now for the spawn transform, you're going to be getting the location of this spawn point. So out of this cast to spawn point, I'm going to be dragging a line from this as BP spawn point, and let's search for get actor transform. I'm going to be connecting this transform right here to the spawn transform. So basically we are spawning this BP enemy inside the spawn point transform. So let me just play and let's take a look at this. I'm going to just reach that point. All right, so we are colliding, but nothing is happening here. So this is a big problem that newbies face, and it has to do with the collision. So if the collision is not good, so this node won't gonna fire. So what we need to do, we have to change it from default to ignore the collisions. Let me just check that, and we can compile and play. So for example, if our character is not fully shown, it won't gonna work. But now we are ignoring that collision. You can see that our character is not fully shown. So what we can do, we can select our sphere and push it a little bit up here, for example, and let's play. All right, so there we go. So we are spawning our character right here. So the next step to do, it's gonna be to destroy it. So we have to destroy it as soon as we are out of reach. So if you go far from our character, our enemy, so you want to destroy that enemy. So the way to do it is going to be using the other event, which is, so the first one that we are using is the begin overlap. So the second or the other one is going to be the end overlap. So as soon as we exit that sphere, this sphere that we got here, so we're going to be firing this event. So I'm going to be just copying the same cast to BP the spawn point. Like this, I'm going to be using the other actor. You can also test this out. So let me just print a message, a text. So let's say that's our character. So character is outside spawn point. Let's press enter and we can play and let's see if that message is going to be firing. So the message, you're going to be seeing it here on the top right. So let's go to our sphere. So now we are inside. So the character is colliding with the spawn point. So if we exit, you can see that the character now is outside. So we are firing that other message, which is good. All right, so let's continue. So from here, what we can do, we can bring destroy. So let me just bring destroy node, destroy actor. And the actor that we need to destroy is the one that we got as a return value from the spawn point, which is the enemy. So I'm going to just use it like this. All right, so let's play. And I'd like to test this out. So now we got our character. So if we are far, so you can see that the character is destroyed. Now it's spawn, destroyed. But I don't want to keep it like this. So this way it looks generic or expected. So I'd like to destroy my enemy. So we can give it some delay. We can add some time. So before we can destroy our enemy, so what we can do from here, we can add a delay period. So let me just use this delay. And instead of set the duration manually, so I'd like to make it random. So we can use a random float. So let me just random float in range. So like this, and we can set the value, for example, between 0.5, which is the minimum, and the maximum is going to be 2.5 seconds. So let me explain. So we're going to be delaying the destruction of our enemy between 0.5 seconds and 2.5. So it's going to be random. We just want to make it not expected. So we want the destruction to be some kind of a natural. So we got our character here. So let me just go here. So this one looks sudden. Let me just collide. So this way, now it's taking a while. So I think it's taking more than 2 seconds. Right now, it's taking again longer. So sometimes it's going to be taking longer and sometimes it's going to be taking shorter to destroy our actor. And this is what we want. We want to add some randomness inside our game. So if you want to animate your character, so we can add here a new node. So let me just, so as soon as we spawn our character, we can play animation. So let's use play animation. So right here. And it's going to be the return value, which is our enemy. So we want to play the animation to this one. So let me just connect it straight to the target. Can just get rid of this mesh. Let me just add some space like this. And for the animation, it's going to be attack. This one right here, and we can make it loop. So let's play and let's take a look at our game. So if we reach our character here, so he's going to be attacking. And if you are out, so let me just go here. So if you are out, it's going to be attacking. And we don't want that. So if our character is not close to the enemy, so we want it to go back to the idle. So here, if we exit that sphere, before we can destroy it, actually before the delay too. So right here, we can add play animation. Play animation. Let me just make some room. I'm going to drag these to the right side, bring this one down. And here for the target, so we should not use this one here because this one might be destroyed. So what we need to do, we have to check if there is an actor in the class. So we can do right click. So get actor of class. So not get actors, only actor, just one. And we can just connect it here, and the actor is gonna be the enemy, and for the return value, it's gonna be connected to the target of the animation. Let me just get rid of the mesh that we got here. So let me just take these to the left. So we are getting the actor, which is the enemy, and we are using it to play the animation. So the animation is gonna be just idle. This one, the idle, and we can set it to looping. All right, so now we're good. So let me just play and let's take a look at our game. So I'm gonna just reach my sphere. All right, so now it's attacking. So if we go back, so now it's idling. So this is what we want. So now attacking, idling. And now it's destroyed. And the good thing about this method is that we can duplicate the spawn point. So let me just select it, and we can press Control D to duplicate it, and we can put it anywhere we want. I'm gonna put it on the other side right here. And let's see if it's gonna be spawning our enemy here too. There we go. So our enemy is spawned here too. So anywhere you put that spawn point, you're gonna be seeing your enemy. So in the next coming tutorial, we're gonna be making our enemy face your character from all angles. Gonna keep look at it from all angles. So see you in the next coming tutorial.